Alright everybody, welcome back. So what you're looking at right now, if you haven't seen it before, is easily one of the best squadron vehicles in the game and one of the best vehicles that you can play in Germany right now, especially for, grinding the event. And before I get to talking more about the Hunter, speaking of the event, what if I told you you could earn free golden eagles for that next vehicle stock grinder event? That's right, free golden eagles for War Thunder can help. Using the app, you can earn golden eagles for easy tasks such as surveys or games, or even just inviting your friends. Use my referral code 7KVGK to get an extra free 10 golden eagles from the start. So what are you waiting for? Download the app in the description below and start earning golden eagles today. So the Swiss Hunter isn't just good for events, it's also just a great vehicle overall to play, especially now. We'll get onto that here in a little bit, but I figured that, with the event going on, is a perfect showcase of exactly what this thing does well. Get lots of kills very quickly. When it comes to fragging out of this BR, there's a couple things that are important in my opinion. One of those is having energy retention. Another one is having actually good guns, and missiles to a degree if you can have them. And the last thing is having flares, especially when you have stuff like the FHU flying around, which I just shot down. And this has all of them. So with the energy retention, now, a plane that can pull hard can be useful, don't get me wrong. Getting that extra little bit of AOA is always very nice, but if you're trying to survive and get a lot of kills, then not losing all of your speed is very important. Especially if you're having to defensive fly or just fight multiple enemies all at once, you don't want to be losing all of your speed the moment you try and turn. Otherwise, cases like this right here, I would not be able to go ahead and rack up multiple kills all one by one, because I would have gotten too slow and one of them would have killed me. I made a video on the Dutch Hunter recently, but if you haven't seen it, I'm going to go ahead and throw this chart up on screen, but it shows you the different Hunter flat models. And as you can see, the Hunter F.58 along with the FGA-9 have the best thrust-to-weight ratios and engine curves out of any of the Hunters. This combined with the already good retention that the Hunter has in a turn means that you have a pretty competitive flight model for ARB. Will you outturn everything you see? No. Will you out-energy everything you see? No. But most of the stuff you fight, you can do one or the other. You're faster than basically all these subsonics, and these supersonics you can usually either outturn or get them to bleed their speed. Before the battle rating changes, this was not the case because you had stuff like the F5C, which is basically everything you could do but better. Now, you cannot see the F5, it is all the way up at 11.0, and so that means the scariest thing that you have to face are stuff like, the Crusaders that I'm fighting right here. Which, don't get me wrong, will still very easily destroy you, but they are somewhat manageable, and you don't have as many of them as the F5C swarm. Typically, at least. Right now, the FAUs are kind of out in force because of the event. The best way I could describe it is kind of like a jack of all trades that doesn't particularly excel in any way, but it's just an overall decent plane for, just flying around in normal ARB games. And that's only one portion of what allows you to rack up so many kills in this thing. The next is the weaponry, and boy oh boy do I have my praises to sing about these guns. You've probably been watching these Aidens absolutely shredding stuff in the background. These are honestly my favorite guns to use right now, after maybe the Vulcan. And these do have better damage than the Vulcan. They absolutely obliterate everything they see. The only reason I like the Vulcan more is just partially because of the higher fire rate and partially because of the better velocity. But these guns, and especially at this BR, are just absolutely incredible. Basically anything you touch, they explode. Either just with the normal massive amounts of damage, or the fuel explosions, which they, cause to a very, very high amount. And these are noticeably better than the Defas now, after the Defa nerf that we had a couple of updates ago as well. The ability to reliably one-shot stuff that you shoot is actually fairly rare now, after the Real Shatter change. Which, yes, the Real Shatter stuff did get somewhat fixed, but guns are still worse overall than they were before the Real Shatter edition. So already having guns that are this reliable, at least for the most part, is a massive advantage for the Hunter. And that is just the guns. Remember, this thing also has missiles as well. And this is the only Hunter that actually has good missiles. I mean, if you look at the J34 and the Dutch Hunter, which, of course, I love the Dutch Hunter, don't get me wrong, but it just has AIM-9Bs. And the AIM-9B, while decent at 9.0, is not a particularly exceptional missile. It's fairly easy to dodge. Basically everything that looks at it will very easily avoid it. Meanwhile, the Swiss one has... I have no idea how to say this, I'm not even trying to, but they're AIM-9Js. And while these missiles are nothing exceptional, at a battle rating at 9.7, they are more than enough for basically everything you look at, especially if they have no flares. This is especially perfect because a lot of the planes you're going to be fighting right now are stuff like the F-104As, which, yes, they are flareless, but they are much, much faster than you. And so, if you miss your shot on them, well, you get the AIM-9 and you can just shoot that at, a little bit less than 2 kilometers and collect your free kill. Admittedly, you only get 2 of them, so you do have to be careful about, preserving them and making sure you save them for targets that really need them. You don't want to just be firing them at some easy plane that you can kill otherwise. But this does give you 2 reliable boomsticks for vehicles which you ordinarily wouldn't be able to shoot. For those of y'all who do play Ground RB, I'm not going to be showing any footage of it, but you do also get access to 2 Mavericks in the same pylon, so if you want something to back up a little bit of your Ground RB lineups, then by all means. Only getting 2 of them does leave you rather limited, but I mean, hey, it's better than nothing, or just not having guided munitions at all at this battle rating. And if you really want to, you can also bring some unguided rockets along with, but personally, I have not had good luck with them. And the final key to the puzzle for ARB, at least, is the fact that you have countermeasures. The RWR is a nice little bonus, but the fact of the matter is that actually having flares this battle rating is huge, because there are so many planes at 9.3 and 9.7 that the only thing that really holds them back is the fact that if someone with all-aspect missiles, like the A-10 or the SE-25, which are rarer now, but are still able to be seen, or if you just get caught off guard and someone fires a good missile at you from rear aspect, like the AIM-9D, for example, well, sometimes you're just dead and there's nothing you can do about it. In the case of the Hunter, on the other hand, you get, 30 pops of countermeasures, which can save your butt. This lets you play much more aggressively, and this in turn allows you to actually rack up a decent amount of kills in a very quick time. Having to play passively doesn't really allow you to get a lot of kills, because most of the people that you're shooting at are going to die before you get there. So being able to push the engagement and not have to worry is a massive boon. Another thing you may have noticed is that I'm actually running a little bit of chaff along with my flares, and part of that is just because, well, I'm not using all my flares anyway, so I may as well, but just let me know you do not need to bring chaff in this thing. There's very, very few situations where it's actually useful, which is why I bring barely any of it in the first place. But essentially, this lets me climb if I wish to do so, because the Hunter does get good fuel economy, and especially at altitude. So if I want to, and especially if I'm in an up tier and I'm fighting stuff like the F-58, for example, with the AIM-9Cs, having a pop or 2 of chaff is very, very useful, because it just instantly decoys the AIM-9C. At your battle rating, you also have the MiG-21s that have the R3Rs, and while those aren't incredibly exceptional missiles, the chaff lets you not have to jink to avoid the missile, or if you get caught out, then of course you can just pop that as well. Definitely not need it, because you can always just fly low, but I mean, hey, never really hurts. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've always had a soft spot for the Hawker Hunter, so it makes me pretty happy that we have a couple of them that are in good spots now, the Dutch Hunter and this one as well. Remember, if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now so you can see more of my videos in the future. Only 31% of my viewers are actually subscribed to the channel, so it helped me out a lot. And feel free to join the Discord if you want to hang out as well. On that note, I'm going to call it here, so I hope you all have a great day, and peace, y'all.